Yeah, actually much improved over what I had. I want to create a nice 2-section group. I'm going to mute this remaining part, and we're going to listen to what we've got. Now let's bring in this remaining part. A lot of times, if something's late, it doesn't sound nearly as bad as something that's coming in early. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But there's also a limit to that. So right here, I've got these kind of stab parts. I'm going to go back to slip mode so I can separate these. I'll just do this like so. I'm just hitting B, grabbing the trimmer tool, and bringing it back. And I can see that this is the edge of this little riff. That needs to hit right along the downbeat of 2 with this. Now, if I just slide it back, I might achieve that. I might have to zoom in a little bit more to do that accurately. Then we'll hear that. Problem with that is this part here is coming in early, which is not good. So I'm going to do a little tailoring here. So I'll bring that back. We'll bring this in just a little bit. Listen to that again. Right, we're hearing the little ragged edge of that. So now that I've got the timing just about right, I'm going to bring the 2 pieces of this together and use the crossfade tool. And also trim up the beginning of this a little bit. And now we'll back out of that a little bit and listen. All right, that dot thing, let's just take another look at that. I think that's coming in a little early. So sometimes you just have to try this. I'm going to cut a little bit of the ending of it off and just move that back slightly. I'll put grid mode back on and then just stretch it out to the end of the measure, and we'll see how that sounds. Not too bad. So like the others, I'll go in here to grid mode. And I'll select those pieces and right click and group. And so now I've got my parts. I'll delete this little extra piece here. And then all we've got to do is work on that intro. Because it's a count-in, I think I use the grid for a reference. We've just got quarter notes there. So I'll go to a quarter note grid, and then I'll just zoom in a little bit. And you can see that that is actually way off. So I'm displaying the grid, but I'm going to do the editing while I'm in slip mode. So here I can use tab to transient B, and I'll bring that back, and B. Tab to transient's probably not entirely necessary in this type of a thing. And then I'll just drag the pieces pretty much to the grid. The beginning, I'm just going to leave that the way it is. We'll stretch this out like that, and then I'll audition this part. Pretty good. This needs a little bit of work to get that crossfaded. So we'll drag those two pieces together. I'll use the crossfade tool. Back out. And I probably should do a little work on the front end of this as well. That's fine. I'll just crossfade off the ragged edges of that. And that. Because this is playing on its own, you don't want any clicks, so putting in crossfades like that helps avoid that. I'm going to go back to the grid mode. I'm going to put it back on one bar because I'm done with those kind of edits. We'll group this. Now I have to move what we have back out one measure to make room for that little intro piece, so we'll do that. And grab this and put it back here. Rewind. And the last thing I'll do is copy off this with Control. I'm saying Control. On the Mac, it's Command. And we can also Command D and then duplicate all of that stuff. Go back. Now that sounds more right. Before it sounded like it was just sloppy. Now it's a lot tighter. It's also much more in the groove. And I didn't completely edit everything. And I also wanted to point out that I did all this editing using only basic editing commands. I didn't use any trick fancy features. We have Elastic Audio on the drum track just to get it to the right tempo. But I just wanted to point out that you can do a lot of this with basic editing commands. You also don't get audio degradation using this type of editing, and it's kind of fun. Well, that's it for this episode of Pro Tools Tips, brought to you by Lilac Writer.